I have been having ahas or things that are popping up in my mind about, well, let's just say I've been having an identity crisis probably for a while now, and it's just dawned on me. Now, the reason that this has kind of become a little bit clearer for me is because I've been reading Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning. It's the story of Viktor Frankl when he was in the concentration camps, and wow, in my past life I worked as a employment consultant for people, and people who were lost and didn't know what kind of work they wanted to do, or had a dream but didn't feel that they could fulfill it, and those kinds of things. And in my search, my identity crisis that I'm having, it's very similar to in the concentration camps. They were stripped of who they were and became nothing. They became a number. And in today's society, in a little way, I can see some similarities there, because if you're on unemployment benefits, or even if you're working, hey, you get a tax file number, so we all end up being just a number. But more than that, they lost any documentation they had, and just were shaved, stripped bare and shaved, and so they had no purpose, I guess. And I feel that a lot of people that I was working with were exactly the same. They didn't know who they were, what they wanted to do, how they were going to do it, even if they did. And you know, when we get married, for me anyway, I became Mrs. Dwyer, or Tim's wife, which was all great because that's what I wanted to be. But I also lost a part of myself and in the process. I don't know if that happens so much anymore these days with people who, have followed their own careers and stuff like that. But then you become a mum and you're somebody's mum. Then, you're a daughter, you're whatever your job is, an accountant, a waitress. So when you all of a sudden don't have those things, you become worthless, just like the people in the concentration camp. And so the journey begins then to find who you are again, and a sense of purpose again. And it's really quite fascinating that the people who had hope in this book, the people who were grateful for the simple things, a few hours sleep instead of a whole 8 hours, were grateful for an extra piece of bread, a tidbit of bread, not even like a whole loaf of bread or a slice of bread, just an extra crumb. They seem to be the ones that had reason to survive and something else to focus on, and that's what kept them going. And I feel that as a mum who has kids are grown up now, 18 and 24, 21, sorry, he's a bit older than I thought, 21 and 25, they're off doing their own thing, and I'm not a mum. I'm still a mum, but not in that sense of the word where you're running around after your kids 24 hours a day. So that's an identity that I kind of have passed through, I guess. And then you've got that emptiness syndrome where you have no idea who you are unless you've been working. But if you're not working then, and you don't have that, who are you? And as Viktor Frankl says in this book, it's about something inside of you. It's not about that material stuff. And as my journey online, they talk about sharing your story, and I look at my story and I think I have no idea what my story is. It's pretty ordinary, but I guess that's my story. Taking the ordinary and making it extraordinary is what I intend to do. But it's really hard to know who you are if you can't look inside yourself and define yourself by your sense of character, your values and your beliefs, and just what you hold true. That's more your identity than what goes out in the world that people can see. And if you're unhappy, it's just really... I was reading in Brendan Burchard's book, The Charge, about congruence, one of the human drives of congruence. And that if you're unhappy, it's because who you are being and who you really want to be aren't in alignment. So that's an interesting concept that I need to delve into some more. I hope this has given you something to think about with your identity. Who are you? And are you being your true self, the best you that you can be? And if you are, I'd love to know how you came to that point. I'm interested in that. But I feel that there's a process that you need to, it's all about awareness, isn't it? And creating that awareness is sometimes tricky. And for me, I've done it through using a process of positivity and gratitude. And wow, that's been a big learning curve too. But I'll share that with you in another video, and I hope you've enjoyed this one. Chat soon.